Well, our next witness is no stranger to this body, Mr. Keith Hall. He serves as a National Tax Advisor for the National Association for the Self-Employed. As owner of his own accounting firm, Mr. Hall has been involved in providing consulting and tax services to small businesses for the last 10 years. The National Association for the Self-Employed was founded in 1981 and represents hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs and micro businesses. And we welcome you to the hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Buchanan, members of the committee. Thank you so much for holding this hearing, and mostly thank you for the chance to be here myself. Again, my name is Keith Hall, and I am a small business owner. I have a small accounting practice in Dallas. I'm here on behalf of myself, but also on behalf of the National Association for the Self-Employed, who represents 250,000 members and over 500,000 workers. These are micro business owners from all 50 states, all ages, all races, all sexes, any other demographic that you want to name, but all of them have one thing in common. They all struggle with their tax return. Most don't like to do their tax return, but they know they have to deal with it. Everyone does. The IRS is the one government agency that all micro business owners must deal with at some level. And quite frankly, most of them are a bit intimidated, maybe even a little bit scared of the big bad IRS. That's not because the IRS intends to be intimidating or scary, but it's because the code is so complicated. I understand that there are 3 times as many words in the Internal Revenue Code as there are in the Bible. There are not a lot of books out there that are longer or more pervasive than the Bible, but apparently the Internal Revenue Code is one of those. Again, the fear is not because of the IRS itself, but because of the code. I feel that the IRS has done a great job in helping small businesses with their website, with access to education. They've done a lot of good things to help us, and they've been successful. But still, the IRS, Ranking Member Buchanan mentioned that there's 37 hours to fill out a 1040, but the IRS says that it takes 57 hours to fill out a Schedule C with a 1040. For a small business owner, that's over 1 work week. That's roughly 2% of their work year. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but if we could all have a 2% growth in our 401k plan or a 2% growth in the economy, we'd be really happy with that. So that's a big chunk of their work. Now, in my opinion, the answer is pretty simple, but apparently simple can be complicated, which is also complicated. For micro business owners, simplifying the code is the right answer for them in growing their business. But it's also the answer for the tax gap as well. $353 billion in taxes that should be paid that aren't. I believe a big chunk of that is because people just don't know how to do the taxes the way they should. I believe most people want to do the right thing and will do the right thing. They just don't know which line to put the right thing on. And I think that's where simplifying the tax code comes into play. Now, everybody recognizes that. I think the administration has a new tax force working on tax simplification. We're here today meeting for it, so I think we're headed in the right direction. And I believe we're on the right track. There are 3 bills right now that you guys are working on. One, H.R. 946, the Plain Language Act. Its sole purpose is to simplify language in all government forms and publications. We strongly support that bill. Just making the forms easier to read will be a good first step. Second is H.R. 1562, as Chairman Schrader had mentioned. That's the Home Office Deduction Simplification Act. Basically provides a $1,500 standard home office deduction. Ranking Member Buchanan also mentioned that only a handful of people who qualify for the home office deduction actually take the home office deduction. Now, the very purpose of that rule is to make the playing field level, because big businesses clearly deduct their facility expense. But some of the small guys don't, just because it's so complicated. Again, on that form, the home office deduction form, 14 different times appears the phrase, "see instructions." That's very difficult. Now, the NASE has done a survey with its members back in 2008. You had mentioned only a handful of people claim the deduction. Of the people who qualify for the home office deduction, only 27% actually take the deduction. And they do, that's because it is so complicated. That's just not fair. A third bill is H.R. 1470, which is tax equity for our nation's Self-Employed Act, and that basically just moves the self-employed health insurance deduction over to Schedule C. Mr. Blackledge mentioned that, taking the deduction at the entity level. That just levels the playing field and removes a significant complexity in the tax code. The last thing I'd mention is we need some continued work, I believe, and the NASE supports continued clarification on the definition of independent contractors. Lots of small businesses really struggle with whether they have an employee or have an independent contractor. There's a 20-point checklist that the IRS gives us. Each of those points is very difficult. Even if you answer all 20 of those questions, still not sure we get to the right answer. So additional work on that clarification would be very useful. And again, thank you very much for everything you guys do, and thanks for the chance to be here.